So I'm back from vacation, first job, and I'm making a video. Now this job that I have behind me, I actually shot the last day at work before I left for vacation. And I unfortunately have to respray it. The reason is because of a lesson I learned actually not too long ago, and I wish I learned it sooner, but I guess the excitement of going away and knowing this is my last job before I get a week off, which was freaking amazing by the way, and definitely much needed. I guess that excitement got to me and I let this slip out of my head, which is usually how things go wrong as a painter. You really have to be on top of your game every time you step in the booth. So today I'm gonna share that lesson I learned not too long ago with you. Now originally this was just a rear bumper and a quarter repair right here. The repair went to about here. So when I blended my color, I got way more color than I wanted on the edge of the door here. Now when I checked this job before I left for vacation, all I did was peel this back and my color from here to here looked great. I mean, it was spot on. So I figured I'm not gonna have any problems with my rear bumper to the other side or with my quarter to my tailgate here. And well, I was wrong. My color here was way lighter than the tailgate and my bumper was also way lighter than the quarter on this side. And the reason why the same color matched perfectly here and did not match here and did not match here is because of my sealer. And I'm gonna prove that to you guys today. There's two ways I'm gonna do that. The first way is by doing a spray out card on this fancy card. I forget what the name of this is, but basically it has all my undercoats on one card. And you guys are gonna see this spray out card is gonna show you guys exactly how much your undercoat affects your color. I know a lot of people think that the undercoat is only determined based on coverage and saving material, but that is not the case. Your undercoat will affect not only the face of your color, but the flop of your color as well. And it actually, in my experience, affects the flop of your color more than the face of your color. So the reason why the same color was good here and not good here or on my other quarter is because I had sealer here, right? I had my sealer about here all the way down. And then of course my brand new bumper, the entire thing was sealed. Now this color called for a G5. Had I been on top of my game, I would have known this is a red, this is a tri-coat, but I'm actually shooting it in a 2-stage color because I have a really good match. But I would have known to go darker with my sealer because it's very common on reds and whites and even some blues that if you don't have the correct undercoat, your flop is gonna look way lighter. And the second way that I'm gonna prove this to you guys is I'm using the same exact color that I used the first time I shot this car because I know it's a good color. I know I put color to my edge here and it matched my door perfectly and nothing has been repainted. So I know it's not an issue that something was repainted and that door wasn't, and that's why it matches the door. I know it's my undercoat because my color was spot on everywhere that I didn't put sealer. So essentially now all that I did was use a sealer that's 2 shades darker. Now I do have my one visit modifier in my mix today, but unfortunately these bumpers really don't fit in here together. So this is my second coat now, my second coverage coat. Also what I did was I resealed this whole bumper, which sucks because you really don't want to have to mix paint. Like you don't want to have to mix that much paint again. But I know if I just shot the same color on this bumper, it was still gonna be way too light because of my undercoat. So I needed to use a darker undercoat to fix this color. That's the only way that this car is gonna match. So since I'm using the same color and all I changed was my undercoat, once we untape this and see how well this matches, that will 110% prove to you guys that the undercoat affects the color way more than you might have guessed. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't know if this is only a waterborne thing. For those of you who don't know, I've only been spraying water for about a year now. That's how long I've been at the shop I'm at. And I never had this problem when I sprayed solvent. And one of the solvent lines that I was using didn't even have a sealer. I mean, it was a really cheap paint line. So this is our second coverage coat. But yeah, I don't know if this is strictly for waterborne, but I do know I never had this problem with solvent, where the undercoat affected the color so drastically. I saw there was some blow through, so I gotta make sure I take care of that. All right, I'm gonna throw one more coat of color on. This is gonna be our last coat of color. And then I'll pick you guys back up when that card is all flashed off, right before we throw our clear on. All right, everything is all flashed off, ready for clear, and this is going to blow your minds. But before I blow your minds, I want to go back to when I was saying that I never had this problem with solvent. Just because I never had this problem with solvent doesn't mean you may not be having this problem with solvent. So to determine if this is your problem, all you need to do is next time you're checking your swatch book for the best color to mix to match the paint of the car, if that color looks dead on and you mix that exact variant, and when you spray it on the car, it just doesn't look right, it's probably your undercoat. So keep that in mind, especially for your whites and your reds and your light blues. Now, this has 2 coverage coats and 1 orientation coat, just like all our other parts. Check this out, guys. Look at the difference in the colors just based on the undercoat. This is our G7 darkest undercoat, G5, G3, and G1. You can see how the color goes from a pink to a maroon. So even if our color matched perfectly, if we use the wrong undercoat, our color is not going to match. This is how much of an impact your undercoat has on your paint job. If this isn't right, it could ruin your whole paint job. Now, before we clear, let's check our color. So I have that Sprayout card with all the different shades of sealer. You can see our G1 here looks way too pink. Our G3 looks too bright. Our G5 looks pretty good, but our G7 is exactly what we need. You see our color is perfect, then it's slightly lighter on the G5, slightly lighter on the G3, and pinkish on our G1. So our G7 sealer was the correct call. All right, so the plan is we're gonna clear this quarter together. I'm just gonna throw the first coat on with you guys, then I'll throw the second coat off camera, and I will show you at the end of this how well our color now matches. Keep in mind, I had to repaint this because my quarter was about 2 shades lighter than the tailgate. I used the same exact color on this quarter that I used the first time. The only thing I changed was our undercoat. So if the difference in the color on that spray card didn't convince you how much the undercoat matters, this should, because I'm using the same color that was too light and is the reason I'm repainting it right now, and all I changed was the undercoat. With that being said, we are throwing on our MC161 Omni Clear with our Black Widow. I have my fan 1 turn in, everything else is full open. Let's lay some clear. right, I'm gonna coat everything else, bake this thing, and then I'll show you guys that color outside the booth. All right, so here's our finished product. I know I said I'm gonna show this to you guys outside, but it kind of made sense for me to show it to you in here because I wanted to make sure you see that I clearly put color all along the edge here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got it all ready to peel back. And now you can see how beautiful of a match we have. Granted, this has got to get compounded and polished a little because it's a little faded, but the color itself is absolutely spot on. And keep in mind, this is literally the same paint that I used the first time. And the quarter that I painted, I did the same thing. I put color here because I was putting a new bumper on. This was about 2 shades lighter than this. And it was all because of our undercoat. I used a G5 when I should have used a G7. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I'm sure you did. If you did, or if you were entertained, if you could, drop a like, comment, or maybe even subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and it helps the channel out a bunch. Till the next time. Peace.